Hi guys, welcome to Brave Yoga. My name's Claire for those of you who don't know me. We're playing number 9, the Flowing Brave. I think it's on the chat. So play number 9 from the Spotify playlist. And we will start today in a comfortable child's pose. So toes are touching at the back. You can have the knees wide or close together, whatever feels cool for you. And stretching your hands forward and relaxing down onto the ground. So I like to move a little bit into my hips to really arrive in my child's pose. As you inhale, maybe elongate through the spine and relax forehead again onto the floor. We'll take a few big breaths together just to really start off our practice nice and relaxed. So we're going to inhale for 3 breaths, hold for 3 counts, and exhale for 3 counts. Hold for 3 counts, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold for 5. And now just allowing your breath to follow any count that feels good for you. Maybe bend the elbows and let yourself sink a little deeper into the floor, relaxing the jaw, creating space between the teeth and maybe rolling the tongue gently around the mouth. Blinking the eyes gently open and pushing up into your hands into our tabletop for this morning or this evening, wherever you are, London, Melbourne. And first we'll start with some cat-cows. So we gaze up towards the sky and tilt the tailbone up. Exhale, push the floor away and gaze towards the belly button. Inhale again, we're opening, so gazing up to sky. Exhale, push through those hands round through the back and not taking it too hard yet, being gentle on the spine. And now following your own breath. So maybe you want to close your eyes and slow it down. Maybe you want to move forward and back on the wrists a little bit. I like to move my weight over my wrists and do little circles in one way. Now, I recommend you do this today because we are focusing on all the muscles that are involved with a handstand. So really we need to warm up the wrists. And once you've gone one way, go the other. So making sure that that weight is actually over the wrist. So you're not doing your circles back here, but you're over that wrist. If you do feel any pain, just come back with a little bit less weight in the wrists. Now, turning around your fingers so they're facing towards you, tuck your toes behind you, and as you exhale, just draw back. So this might feel quite intense. You just take it as far as you feel. If you want to take it further, you can untuck the toes and lean back a little more. Gently coming back up and swapping the hands around to neutral. We're going to do something called a hand push-up, so finger push-ups. So what it looks like is we're actually going to just push up onto our knuckles so that our fingers are all on the floor and the palm is risen up, but you're just onto the knuckle and down. Now, the reason why we do this is we do this same movement in handstand, and this is what prevents us from falling over. So we'll do 20 of these. So we come up for 1 and down, but take it slow. Don't just jolt yourself because you could hurt some of your ligaments and joints. So just take it slow. And just being mindful here of any pain, of any discomfort. If you do feel pain, just take it a little slower. This is like a really great warm-up for the fingers because in a handstand, we need to claw the ground. And when we're in a handstand, this is a movement that happens a lot with our hands when we're about to fall over. So our ability to claw into the hands and get back from this extension in the fingers is really important. So that's why we spend a little bit longer here. And from here, then we just gently walk the hands out. We're coming into an active puppy pose. So the heart sinks down. Have little cupcakes with the fingers in front of you and gaze towards that in between the hands. Exhale, you push the floor away and gaze towards belly. Inhale, drop the heart, look between the hands, push through those fingers, really active in the shoulders. Exhale, push the floor away, gaze down, relax neck and head. Inhale, look up. And the more you push into those fingers and cupcake the hands, the more active you'll feel through those shoulders. Exhale, gazing towards belly. Again, we're activating those muscles in the shoulder. And just as you engage through this shoulder girdle, the more likely you are to be strong in your handstand and less likely to injure yourself. So that's why we start here. So keeping one more inhale, we gaze between the hands, and exhale, pushing away. Bringing your elbows onto the floor, we're going to get used to the feeling of handstand, but safely from the ground. So the first thing we're going to do is when you're in handstand, the real common thing that you'll want to do is this. So if you can see me, my back is bending. This is what happens in a handstand. What we want to do is bring the ribs in, control the core. So that's what we're going to do on the ground. So looking between the hands, lifting the hands up off the floor, just get used to that feeling. Then drop them down. Now I want you to squeeze the glutes and tuck the hips under and tuck your ribs in. So your belly is almost coming off the floor because you're tucking that much. Push into the floor with your forearms and you'll start to shake because you'll feel the engagement. If you want a little more, you can lift your feet up. If you want a little more, you can lift your hands up. But keep your gaze between your hands. It should really start to shake and be very active. Tuck your tailbone even more, squeeze your glutes even more, squeeze your legs together, and exhale, release. Already starting to sweat. And then resting your right ear onto the floor. Having a little break. What's really important with handstands is also breaks. It's a skill, so we need to give rest. Next one, we're going to roll over onto our back. So we're doing exactly the same thing, but on our backs. Just like this. So coming down onto our backs, hands up over your head. So just get used to lying on the floor first. Push your lower back into the floor and then straighten your legs. So you'll notice if your lower back is on the floor, you have to be activating your core. Squeeze your glutes, push your back into the floor even more, extend your legs out, lift them off the floor. They'll start to shake. Hands can come behind neck and head if that feels a bit better. And we hold here. Keep pushing the lower back into floor, squeezing glutes, but maybe lifting legs if you're feeling strong. Let's hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the legs down. Just get a little bit of movement, take a little break, bend the knees. Maybe bring the knees in towards the chest on a gentle rock from side to side. We're coming into dish pose, which is a very similar movement, but we're going to bring our shoulders off the floor. So the shoulders come up, but the lower back is pushed into the floor. We're using our core and gazes up. If this hurts the neck, you can place it behind the head. The most important thing here is to push the lower back into the floor. So we don't want the ribs caging out and the lower back lifting. So push the lower back in, squeeze the glutes, hands up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. So that is the position you want in your handstand, what we were just doing then. So rolling over onto your tummy, and we'll push up into our first upward facing dog of the day. So just moving gently from side to side here, not too active right now, and gazing over the left shoulder. So coming into a gentle twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to other side, gentle twist. Inhale back, we tuck the toes, and we're going to push up and back into downward facing dog. Having a few breaths here, and your first downward dog always feels a little stiff, so I like to, what I call walk the dog, so bending one knee and then the other. Just give the head a little nod and a shake of the head no and yes to relax that neck. Looking between the hands. Now, you can either step between the hands, or if you can't get there, you can help your leg forward. And then folding forward over the legs, bending the knees as much as you need to have hands on the floor. Now, bend your knees even more and slowly roll up with bent knees, tucking the hips under the body, rolling up through the spine, hands come through heart, inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to center. Again, getting our handstand position correct. We're going to spend a little longer here. So normally in yoga, I tell you to have space around your shoulders. In a handstand, they need to be really up near your ears, so no space. So we're going to have a little practice of the shoulders and also of the belly. So instead of being tucked out, we're going to tuck it in. So front ribs come in, tailbone down, everything's tight. If your whole body's tight, you'll be much better in a handstand. So let's all practice together. So my shoulders are up, pushing up as high as you can so there's barely any space between your ears, and tucking in your top ribs, tucking your pelvis, so tilting tailbone down and squeezing glutes a lot. If you want to take it a little more, come up onto your tippy toes and keep squeezing. This is your handstand line. So take note of this and really start to understand your body, how this feels, because this is how you want to feel when you're upside down. And slowly start to come down, hands to heart, have a breather. Your heart should start pounding a little bit after that. If you didn't feel it, you need to focus on engaging, squeezing legs, engaging core even more. Inhale, hands up to sky. And exhale to fold. Inhale to halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands down. Step or jump back into your high plank. Now, your high plank, we also work with protraction of the shoulders, which is important in a handstand. So if we retract the shoulders, they sink forward, yeah? If we protract, they're like this, so that my back is rounded. You can also do this with your knees on the floor. So let's retract the shoulders. So let the chest fall and the shoulders retract back. This is a no-no in a handstand. You always want protracted shoulders, so pushing away, that pushing action. So option one for your chaturanga, you can stay here. I want you to squeeze your legs together and squeeze your glutes. Tilt your tailbone towards your toes, chest forward, everything squeezed really tight, elbows really tight into the body, strong as you slowly come down with control. Inhale to baby cobra, or if you're feeling warm enough, you can come to your upward facing dog. Tuck your toes, exhale, coming back to down dog. I like to step my feet a little wider in my down dog and pedal out my legs because I have quite tight hamstrings. Look between the hands, option to step, or if you want to have a jump, get that weight into the hands, bend the legs, and try to control the jump forward as much as you can. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold. Inhale, slowly rising up, hands through heart center. You ready for that handstand on the floor? So again, pushing up through the shoulders, tucking those ribs in, squeezing the glutes. There is no space between the shoulders and the ears. Come up onto your tippy toes, keep squeezing the legs together. Hold for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Coming down onto your heels, hands to heart. Exhale to fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands down. Option to step, or if you jump, try and have that control with the jump back. Option to have knees down or full chaturanga to the floor. Inhale to baby cobra or up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Look between the hands. Step, if you're going to do your jump, this is a great practice for handstand. I bring my hands closer together because normally in a down dog, you have wider hands. Handstand, they're like this. So if you want to jump forward in a handstand style, I move my hands closer together because what that's going to do is give me more control when I jump. So have a little practice with that. Inhale to, exhale to fold. Bend through the knees and slowly rise up. Hand through heart center to lift up. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands down. Option to step, or if you're going to jump, try to get some height when you jump and get the weight into the shoulders. So what that might start to look like is you get that height and then jumping back. It's not going to look like that at first, but you just have to practice. Bring the knees down, chest forward, elbows sucked in towards the body, coming down to floor. Inhale into up dog. Roll the shoulders back. And exhale into downward facing dog. A big breath in. And exhale, release. Are you ready for a little jump? You're going to look between your hands, bring the hands closer together, so shoulder width apart, bend the knees, suck everything together, suck pelvic floor, try to jump with control, make it quiet. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold. Sweep hands behind you, lift up into chair, inhale. So with chair, we're tilting the tailbone down, squeezing the legs together, hands up, come a little deeper. Look over your knees, make sure you can see your toes, and make sure you're not dumping into your back. So again, we're using that core to hold us rather than dumping into our lower back. Exhale, hands to floor. For the next vinyasas, we're going to be placing our knee on the floor. So I use a pad. So just if you are at home on any hard surface, please put something under there, a jumper or anything, just for your knees. We'll step back with the right leg and place the knee on the floor. And inhale, rise up into a low lunge. So with our low lunge, we're leaning forward a little bit, but we're pushing the front heel into the floor and pulling it back. So we're not just dumping into flexibility, which is down here, we're into strength. So we're looking for stability around the joint rather than stretching into passive stretching, which can lead to injury. So hands up, squeezing everything together, lift. Exhale, hands to floor, untuck back toe, step back, and move through your high to low plank. Inhale to up dog, and exhale to down dog. Reaching the right leg forward, placing the left knee down this time. Inhale, rise up. So again, sucking into that midline, drifting up through the chest, hands up. We're not dumping and just really getting into those hips with no strength. We're really lifting up. Hands to floor, untuck back toe, step your back foot forward, fold over the legs, exhale. Inhale, slowly rise up, hands come through heart, look up above you, and exhale to fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, left leg steps back this time, placing it down gently on the mat. Inhale to rise. So again, pulling in the midline, lifting through chest, active through legs, hands up. Exhale, hands down, untuck back toe, step back into your plank. Knees can come to floor or full chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, up dog, and exhale to down dog. Left foot sweeps forward, right knee comes down, inhale to rise. Again, focusing on strength rather than dumping down into the back. Exhale, hands down, untuck back toe. With control, step forward and fold over the legs. Inhale, we rise up. And exhale to fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands down, right foot with control, step it up, and with control, step it back. Placing the right knee down on the floor. Inhale, rise up. Again, pushing into that front heel and pulling it back towards you so you're magnetizing your heel to your knee. Exhale, hands down, untuck back toe, step back, move through your flow, high to low. Inhale to rise, and exhale, down dog. Right foot steps forward, left knee down, inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to floor, untuck back toe. With control, step the back foot forward, fold over the legs. Bend through knees, slowly roll up. Hands come through heart, inhale to rise. And exhale, hands to heart center and pause for a moment. Can you feel how fast your heart beating? I can feel mine. Pushing into the chest, into the sternum. Close your eyes and just feel how fast your heart is beating. Take a few breaths, maybe have a slightly wider stance, and see if you can, with your attention, observe if that heart starts to slow. Inhale, hands rise up. And exhale to fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, hands to floor. If you want to try that jump, try and get that length and control as you jump back. Moving out any padding that you had in front of you. Moving through your flow from high to low plank. Inhale to come up. And exhale for down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. So here, seeing if you can keep the hips from opening. So what really happens is we can twist open with the hips. Let's see if we can keep the hips even for a moment. Flex the toes towards your shin and lift a little higher. Push into your left foot. So what you're actually doing as well is getting this really deep stretch through the hamstring on the left side. Exhale, we bring the foot towards the knee on the standing leg and then open the hip. So from here, trying to more get your foot towards your glutes as much as you can to also get into that quad. Then exhale, sweep forward between the hands with control, step it down. Inhale to rise up to crescent lunge. Tilting the tailbone down. The back knee can be bent if you're very tight in the hips, otherwise you can straighten that leg. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, placing the back foot on the floor, warrior two. We're looking for that arch to heel alignment and gaze to the front middle finger. Check if you're deep enough. Check if that knee is over that front ankle. Can you go a little deeper? Can you engage that front core by lifting the toes to engage the quads? Flip the front palm, reach forward. We're going into reverse warrior, so paint the ceiling and exhale to come back. Keeping that front knee bent, just check it's there. Exhale back through warrior two. Straighten the front leg into triangle. So let's go with triangle together. I want you to grab your hips. I actually come a little closer together for my triangle. Pulling your hips towards the back of the room, towards the left, reaching towards the right, and then tilting down. So rather than twisting forward, we're keeping that hip open, and it doesn't have to get to the floor. It can just get to your shin and reach up. So what I would really not like to see is dumping into the floor. I'd like to see you rise up, magnetize your legs together. So pull your front heel towards your back foot, engage through the thighs and the legs, and lift through the core. Rather than dumping into flexibility, we're using strength here. One place you do not need extra pressure is your neck, so you can relax your head and gaze towards the floor. Bend through the front knee a little as you rise up, back through your warrior two. Hands to center, turning both feet to face the computer and hands behind you. We're coming into a wide leg forward fold. So I'm placing my hands on my sacrum. My elbows are going back towards the back of the room. And then as I exhale, I fold forward over my legs. So if you are quite flexible and your head is on the floor, I challenge you to actually bring your feet a little closer together so that you can get a little bit more stretch into your legs. If your head's touching the floor, just bring your feet closer together. If your head is not touching the floor, you're in a good spot. You can just grab the outsides of your feet and elbows towards the sides of the room. And gently, if it feels okay, have a little bit of a drawing down towards the legs. So pulling very gently. Neck and head is relaxed. I like to just move my head from side to side. And I have a bit of space in my jaw, maybe moving the jaw from side to side. We hold a lot of unnecessary tension in our neck and head. Inhale, hands to center, flat back. Right hand into the center of your face, and inhale, left hand up into a twist. So we're twisting towards the left. Exhale, hands come back down underneath the face, swapping your left hand, and then inhale, rising up through your right hand. And exhale, hands to floor. Coming into a snake squat, so bending down into the left knee. And now you might not get that low, you might be here. So I want you to place your hands in prayer and stay here. The toes are flexed towards the shin. If you can get a little lower, keep those toes flexed up, hands towards the heart, and just breathe. If you do have a bind in your practice, you're welcome to take it here, but it isn't necessary, just finding that breath. Inhale, hands onto the floor as we walk our body back up, and exhale down onto the right side. So you'll notice one side's tighter than the other. My right side tends to be the tighter one. So finding whichever side is the tight one, you don't have to take the full expression if it feels wrong. For me, a bind on this side, I can do it, but it doesn't feel so great for me. So I'm going to stay here. Walking the hands back up to center. We'll do one more on each side. If you want to try it without your hands and just using control, that's the next challenge. Inhale, come through center, maybe with no hands, maybe just with control of your muscles, and exhale to the other side. Inhale back through center, hands under the face. Inhale to lengthen through spine, come up halfway. Walk your feet a little closer together, bend your knees as you slowly roll up. Turn both your feet towards the front of the room. I like to step my back foot halfway up towards my front foot, and I'm on train tracks. So you don't want your feet straight behind each other. We're coming into pyramid. So option one, you can have bound hands behind you, grabbing your elbows, or you can have reverse namaste if that feels okay for you. From here, tilting from the hips, keeping a flat back, that's why we do the bind, and staying where you feel the pull in your front knee. That's the back of your hamstring, and that's saying that it's had enough. So check your hips and check if they're straight, even them if they're not. So the left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Maybe you can undo your hands and touch the floor gently. Maybe if you feel like you have a little more, you can fold forward over that front knee. A little micro bend in the front knee is absolutely cool. It actually can feel a lot better to release that hamstring pressure. Inhale to walk the hands a little further forward, so we're coming to flat spine. Right hand onto the floor, and inhale into the twist. So we're coming into a twisted pyramid. Maybe the hand lifts to use that core to hold you here. Relaxing the neck and head, so letting the ear fall towards the right shoulder. Cartwheel, hands down, step your back leg up for standing leg splits. Now this is a great entry into handstand. I'm going to talk you through it. So look up to about here on my mat. So I'm looking quite farther forward because you're looking at where you want to go. So make sure your hands are close together. Make sure there's no space between your ears and your shoulders. Come as further forward as you can. Come onto your left toe as much as you can. Kick up and gaze towards where you want to go. So see if you can get a few jumps here and get your handstand and maybe fall out. That's okay. But have a little few jumps, and when you've had enough, grab your elbows and rock from side to side in ragdoll. Bend through the knees and slowly roll up. So handstand takes a long time, but it's all about taking the small steps so your body can recognize the position that it wants to be in when it's upside down. So coming to the top of your mat, inhale to rise, exhale to fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands to floor, option to step, or if you're doing a little jump, make sure you get that height and jump back with as light as you can. Option to lower knees, exhale to floor. Inhale, up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Walking out the legs here. Inhale, raising the left leg up this time. So we're flexing the toes towards the shin. Really getting length towards the back of the room. So don't having the weight over the hands. We want the weight back into the leg. So we can push down through that right heel, which actually gets us an extra little joyful, or maybe not so joyful, hamstring stretch. Now we bend the knee and open the hip. So bring the left foot towards the left glute and open the hip up. But it's really important to bring that left heel towards the left glute and for your shoulders to be even. So if you start twisting through the shoulders, I'd like you to try and even them off. So we keep that twist in the hip. Exhale, sweeping the foot forward between the hands with control. Inhale, rise up into crescent lunge. Again, just activating that quad by lifting the front toes. It turns on all these muscles like the fibularis anterior, tibularis, and they protect the knee. So it's pretty cool. You just have to lift your toes up rather than crunching them into the mat. Exhale into warrior two. So hip opener, gaze, make sure that you're in the right position. Front heel in line with the instep of the back foot. Gaze towards middle finger. Big breath in, get a little deeper, walk your stance a bit further away. Make sure you're activating those front toes, lift them up. Flip the front palm, reach forward, sweep through the ceiling, reverse warrior. Maybe there's a back traction, so right hand might come to the right hip and push down to give you more space into your back bend. Relax neck and head, don't gaze up. Exhale, coming back through your warrior two. Now, I like to step my back foot forward a little bit for Trikonasana or triangle. Straighten the front leg. You're going to get your right hand onto your right hip, pull it back towards the back of the room, and then pull your left hand forward. So your hips going back, hands going forward, and tilt down. So trying to open that hip up. Gaze towards the front foot, so we're relaxing that neck. Trying not to dump into the floor. If you are grabbing your foot up on the foot so it's active rather than dumping down. So pulling up to the ceiling, maybe hovering the hand from the floor. So magnetizing feet together. So front heel pulls towards back foot pulls towards front foot, lift a little higher and feel that activation. Exhale, hands come to center. Both feet face the opposite way to before. I'm going to do it forward so you can see me. Hands are on your hips, so thumbs in the sacrum, wrapping your fingers around the hips. As you have a little, your toes can be slightly pigeon toes, so toes slightly in. A little back bend as you reach back. Exhale to fold over the legs. So with this one, it's going to be a twist, but we're taking it a little deeper. So I would recommend walking your feet closer than you think you need to, so it's much closer than you were before. Placing your right hand on the outside of your left foot and your left hand on the outside of your right foot, so you're in a twist. Now this might be absolutely it today. You might be really feeling it, and if you gently pull forward, you'll start to feel it deepen. If you want to take it further, you can start to twist, so place your head underneath your left hand, so you're looking towards your left foot. So you're going into a deeper version of the twist. And it's okay if you don't want to go here today, it's just an option. Staying in the twist forward fold is also very deep into the hamstrings. It's just a different sensation. Gently releasing the hands, walking the hands out in front of you. Inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to fold. We have to go the other way. So the left hand goes towards the outside of the right foot, and then the right hand goes over the top towards, the left hand goes towards the right foot and the right hand towards the left, but it's over the top so that you're doing the opposite side. And exhale to fold forward and down. If you want to take it further, you look underneath and towards the right foot as you twist under the arm. You'll feel a really a twisting sensation into the spine. You don't have to take this option, it's just an option. Wherever you are, taking your last breath. Gently walking the hands out so you have a nice flat back. And then bend through the knees, slowly lift up. We bend through the knees to protect the hamstrings. Turn both feet to face the front of the room. And I walk my back foot a little bit further up so that my hips are straight. Again, train tracks. And from here, find your bind. So maybe you just grab your elbows and you tilt from the hips forward and down to a flat back. So gaze towards your hips. Are they twisted? Are they doing anything funky? Can you even them out? So the left hip comes slightly forward and the right hip back. Which what that allows is that you even the hips. Maybe it's available to bring your hands down to the floor. If it is, maybe walk your hands a little further to straighten through spine. And if you have more to go, exhale to fold forward over the front knee. Inhale to lengthen through spine and exhale to fold a little deeper. So we're coming into our twist. So So left hand onto the floor in front of you and inhale to rise into your twist. Now I like to raise my hand off the floor so it's also with core control. And just gaze towards the bottom hand. It doesn't have to be looking up. One more breath. And on the next exhale, the hands come down towards the floor. This time the left foot steps up behind you for standing leg split. Option to stay here, but if you do one handstand, hands come closer together. Imagine no space for the ears. Look, trying to get that weight over the hands. Really active through that standing left foot. Look in front of you where you want to go and then start to do little kicks. So make sure you're looking where you want to go because that's where you'll end up going. And have a little play. And doesn't matter how long you get, even if you get a little bit of air time, that's all right. When you've had enough, grab your elbows and fold forward. Just try not to break anything in your house. I can imagine everyone's animals are probably freaking out right now at home. And let your neck and head be really soft. Inhale to lengthen through spine. Get your first two fingers around your big toe and exhale, elbows out to the side and fold forward over the legs. Gently start to rise up. Knees are bent, hands through heart center. Inhale up to the sky and exhale to come down into a squat, a malasana. So we're just going to stay here for a moment and take our breath and have a breathe. So having your hands at heart center, elbows on the inside of your thighs to work as a vice to open up the legs. You'll start to notice that the more you tilt your tailbone down towards the floor and reach up through crown of head, you have a nice neutral spine. And the more you sit back, your toes might lift as you're coming back just onto your heels. Maybe closing your eyes for a moment. Now, if you are at the top of your mat, you can gently find yourself coming down onto the floor with control and slowly rolling through the spine all the way down to the ground. Coming into some heel touches, so walk your feet so they're just behind your glutes. And we're going to lift up and just do a few heel touches. So we're touching one side and the other, chin to chest, and trying to bring the head and shoulders up off the floor as much as you can, lower back into the floor. Now, the most important thing, one of the most important things, is your core in a handstand. If you don't have a strong core, you're never going to hold yourself upside down. So we do need to spend a little bit of extra time activating the core. 3, 2, 1. Slowly lowering down to the floor, straightening the legs out. We're doing that same position as we were before at the beginning of the class, but now you've had some practice, it might help you a little bit to do it again. So bring the lower back onto the floor, then straighten the legs out. Hands come up over your head. There's absolutely no space between your shoulders and your ears. Do you notice that your lower back is coming up? I do. So I'm pushing my lower back into the floor. I'm squeezing the glutes, and you start to realize there's a massive amount of activation to do that movement. So we're pulling the top ribs in. We're tilting the tailbone down, sucking in the core, pushing lower back into floor, maybe lifting legs, maybe lifting arms, pointing the toes, chin to chest. Keep pushing that lower back into the floor and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. You feeling more? So if you're not feeling anything, you need to try to push that lower back into the floor even more and squeeze everything really tight. It does start to get pretty tough. So coming onto our belly, we're going to do it again on the other side. Ross is going to sleep. It's not sleep time yet, Ross. So again, we're going to, instead of curving the spine so the glutes out, we're going to tilt the tailbone, suck the belly in, look between the hands, push into the forearms and make sure that those ribs are coming down. So everything's really tight. Maybe you lift the forearms, maybe you lift the feet off the floor, gaze between the hands, because that's where you'll be looking in a handstand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let yourself drop down. Maybe the right cheek comes to the floor. You can bring the feet into the glutes and a windscreen wiper the legs. Hands come onto the shoulders. Inhale, we rise up. And exhale onto your shins, coming into a seated position. And just taking a moment to breathe. Closing the eyes. The shoulders can come back and down. Interlacing the hands behind you and rolling those shoulders open and down. So the hands are coming down to the base of the spine or maybe the floor. Now this is just to release the shoulders and the upper neck that can get really tight if you're doing a lot of handstand work. If you're starting to feel a pull already, that's because you've been working on these muscles. Undoing the hands, coming down onto your glutes, right leg forward, left foot comes to the inside of the right foot. Just removing some extra padding from underneath the glutes so you're on your sit bone. And if you can place your hands on your hips and tilt forward, because we're going into a half fold forward. From here, lift up through chest, lift up through hands, slightly turn the chest towards the right leg and fold forward. Now your first one, you're not going to get so low normally. So as you inhale, lengthen through spine and exhale to fold a little more. So using that sensation of to inhale to lengthen and release and exhale to fold, you actually trick the muscle to release. So it actually is a really great stretching tool. So inhale to lengthen and release a little bit, and then exhale to fold. You find you will go a little further. So the chin can draw in towards the chest and have a neutral neck. And allow yourself to really soften here. There's no need to hold on. This is one of the poses where we really can let go. Now, if you would like to take this into a twist, it's only an option. The right hand can come underneath the left and it can come into contact with your right knee. And the left hand can grab the shin or the outside of the right foot as you twist yourself underneath the top arm to gaze towards the right. Now, this is just an option. This might not feel nice for you. It feels really nice for me. But if it doesn't feel good, just stay in your fold forward as usual. It's just a different option. And you'll feel it really through the side body of the back. Inhale, really gently coming out of that twist if you were there, and slowly walking the hand up so your back is nice and straight, taking it slow. I place my right hand on the right knee to bring it in, protects the backs of your legs after you have a really strong stretch, and then left leg comes out, right leg out to the side, just checking your extra padding that you're sitting on your sit bones, and get your hands and actually tilt your hips forward. So the pelvic tilt is going forward. Inhale to lengthen through chest, twist slightly towards the left leg, and exhale to fold. My left side is much more flexible than my right, so this one feels a lot more comfortable for me. You might notice the same, that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. Again, using that inhale to lengthen and release, and exhale to fold a little deeper. And if you did it on the other side and you want to try the twist, the left hand threads underneath the right to grab the right knee. The right hand comes onto the outside of the left foot, like a tongue twister, and you twist underneath that right arm into a twist. So you'll feel that twist through the right side body. Relax neck and head down towards left shoulder. Maybe get left shoulder on the inside of the thigh to traction even deeper. Whatever option feels good for you, stay there for another 2 breaths. And to slowly come out, if you're in the twist, take it really slow into a forward fold. And if you're in the forward fold, the fingers walk gently towards the body to straighten the spine. Grabbing behind the back of the left leg and extending it out to the side, and then extending the right leg out. We're going into a wide leg fold forward in a seated position. Again, I always move my hips so that they're facing the right direction, and it allows me to fold forward further. So with this version, we're going to activate the toes. So the toes are lifted towards the shin, and then walking the hands forward, and maybe having a little bend in those knees is okay. I find it really helps me to release my back. And just letting yourself fall wherever you fall. This is a pose I fight with a lot. Some days I get really low, and some days I really struggle. Couple of tips is if you get your left hand and bring it up into the very top of your hip and you pull the quad away and you fold a little further down. And you do it on the right side. So bring the hand on the inside of the groin and move the quad out of the way of the hip so you can fold forward a little more. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. Slowly starting to rise up and walking the hands back towards the body. We're coming into a side bend in the same position. So the right hand comes on the inside of the right leg, left hand comes up and over. So if this, what I would like you to avoid is this hunching forward and tilting down. I'd like you to open the armpit towards the roof and actually feel the stretch through the side body rather than a closing, it's an opening. So feel where your edge is and then let your head and neck relax. If you do have the flexibility to grab the outside of your right foot, you can use that to open your chest. If you do have that flexibility, maybe the right hand comes around onto the left hip as you come again into a twist. And just letting that neck and head be really soft. So creating space in the jaw. And let the right ear fall towards the right shoulder. The right hand can gently help yourself push your way up. Keep your neck and head relaxed. Maybe the right hand comes onto the right side of the face to bring the head up to neutral. Left side, so the left hand walks out, right hand reaches up towards the thigh, and exhale over to the side. Even if you're at another really nice tip, you can use your left hand onto your elbow to just hold your head so your head can really relax here. Actually feels really nice. If you do have that extra flexibility to reach the outside of the left foot, then you can start to get your left shoulder on the inside of the left thigh and you can use that as traction to open. Maybe your left hand goes towards the right hip to really allow yourself to twist a little more. Doesn't matter where you are, just breathe. Gently using that left hand to push yourself up, keeping neck. Maybe left hand comes under the face to let the head come up to neutral. Placing hands underneath the backs of the legs to slowly bring them in, being really gentle on those hamstrings, and then straighten them out. We're doing a double fold forward. You're getting handstands and fold forwards today. So again, checking the hip is in the right direction. Maybe sitting on a block is also useful here to tilt the pelvis forward. Reach up, get length through chest, and exhale to fold forward. And not having to pull and stress yourself into this position, just letting gravity take you where feels good. Trying to keep the chest open rather than rounding forward through upper back. We want to really keep that lower back straight. So we're getting the chest towards the quads and just relaxing the shoulders, and hands can relax where they fall. Wiggle the toes and allow a little bit of relaxation through the feet. relaxation through the neck. So a gentle move from side to side of the head. One last exhale here. Hands slowly walk up. Bend your knees, placing the tops of the feet onto the floor. Hands up. We're going to take a slow curl down onto the ground. So we're trying to keep the feet on the floor and control through the core. So the lower back starts to fold onto the floor. Open the chest. Control. Try and keep those feet in contact with the floor for as long as you can. Slowly with control, coming down towards the ground. Bridge pose. So heels come up to the backs of the glutes. And we're going to lift up. So hands come underneath the spine as you slowly lift the hips towards the roof. Maybe you push the hands into floor and roll the shoulders back. Chin is towards the chest. Activate the feet. So lift the toes, push the heels into the ground, push the hips up towards sky, and imagine that your quads are really engaged as well. So really picture them engaging and squeeze them as much as you can. Slowly coming down, so releasing the hands, upper back, middle back, and lower back comes to floor. Bringing the knees in together, feet out towards the sides. And then moving the knees one way and then the other, just to release through lower back. Now gently coming into our last back bend, so tickle the backs of the heels and inhale to rise. Maybe roll shoulders under, interlace hands onto the floor, push against the floor, lift the toes, push into heels, squeeze the booty, push the hips up for 3, for 2, and for 1. So releasing upper back, middle back, lower back to ground. And you have an option here for butterfly pose, so feet together and knees out to the side. If your lower back is not happy here, you can windscreen wipe the legs in what we did in the last version. Hands on the outsides of the thighs to gently pull the legs together, rolling onto your left-hand side and slowly helping yourself up. We have a little fun playtime now where Ross is going to be the wall. Come on, Ross. We're doing some handstands against the wall. So if you have free wall space anywhere, great. If you do want to do handstand against the wall, that's fine. We're doing what's called a down dog against the wall, which is basically a prep for handstand. And the way that you find the right spot is you stand against the wall and you get one leg and you reach it out to touch the wall. That's when you know you're in the perfect spot. And you place that foot down. You can do this with me if you want, rather than watch me for the whole time, but up to you. Otherwise, you can watch me and you're going to turn around to face the other direction. Look down. This is exactly where your hands should be. So your hands go where your feet are, and then you try not to hurt your wall as you right foot back, left foot back, and then you want to look towards the wall and straighten your legs. So you're going to bring that weight over the hands. So then look between the hands and push up with the shoulders as much as you can. So you want to try to get as much weight over those hands as possible. And this is really going to prepare you for your handstands. So if you're not already with me, if you can join me, the next level from this is you're going to lift the right leg up or one leg up over the body. So you're getting even more of your weight over your hands, and then place it down. And then your left leg goes up. So getting even more weight over the hands. And exhale to come down. Try not to kick anyone. For 3, for 2, for 1. Look between the hands and bend the knees and slowly come down with control. All right. How did you go? You can have another play with that if you want to. We have a little bit of time. And if that was not what you're enjoying, then you can come with me for a little bit of a lighter turn down to the class. So you're welcome to have a few more practices of that, everyone online. Otherwise, you can come with me. So slowly taking yourself down onto the ground, bringing your right knee in towards your chest, interlace fingers around the shin, and pull the right knee up towards right armpit. Exhale the leg over the top for supine twist. Keeping both shoulders on the floor. If you want to deepen the twist, you can grab the outside of the top leg and straighten it out. It's just if you want a little bit more in the hamstrings here. Closing the eyes and just breathing. The heart might be racing. You've had a lot of excitement, a lot of tough poses. Taking this opportunity to wind down. Bending that right leg and bringing it in towards the body and straighten the leg in front of you. This time the left knee comes in towards the chest, interlace fingers around shin, pull up towards left armpit. Exhale, knee over the top of the body into supine twist. Maybe straightening that top leg if you did it on the other side so you're nice and even. Closing those eyes down and taking that attention to the breath. Bringing the left knee back over the top of the body and taking any last movements that you feel you need to make you feel like you've had your practice today. Maybe a happy baby is a nice option to realign the spine. You take your happy baby, grabbing the outsides of the feet and flexing the toes towards the shins, pulling down so that your knees are coming towards your armpits, pushing lower back into floor to really realign that spine before we rest. Exhale now, finding your final resting posture, your Shavasana. Straightening the legs out in front of you. Legs are wide and hands are wide. Inhale deeply into the belly. And exhale, sigh it out. Inhaling again. Exhale, release. And using these last moments to be totally soft and relaxed. Gently start to bring your attention back into your body and back into the room. Maybe some little finger wiggles and toe wiggles. And you are absolutely welcome to stay as you are. If you wish to exit with me, then you can gently bring your knees in towards your chest when you feel ready. And interlace your fingers and bringing your knees in towards your chest to give yourself a big hug. Maybe a little rock from side to side on the sacrum. Keeping eyes closed and neck relaxed, folding and turning over onto your favorite side. Keeping knees into chest. Using your top hand to gently help yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes remained closed. Placing your hands gently on your knees, rolling shoulders back and down, drawing the chin gently towards the chest. Taking a big breath in together. Exhale, release. Hands come to the heart center, keeping the eyes closed and bringing that attention inward. Bring attention to how the fingers feel as they're touching in prayer. All the sensations around the hands. All the sensations of the parts of the body that are in contact with the floor. The glutes, the feet, tops of the thighs. Through yoga and through body awareness, we can bring ourselves into the present moment, a type of moving meditation. And I hope today you got some time to play and also some time to feel into your body, to be present. Exhale, bowing down first to yourself for your practice and honoring that practice. And then bowing down for all the awesome people online for their lovely energy. Thank you for playing with me today. I know it was a little bit of a tough class, but I wanted to get some tips and pointers in for getting into handstand. And I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it useful. And Russell, this was a gift for you, your handstands. So I wish you the best of luck on your handstand journey, everybody. Namaste.